Welcome to Breakup Cheater. Let's get into today's story. My name's Dean. I'm 42 now. I used to run a small auto shop on the east end of town. Not the shiny, polished kind with big glass windows and high-end branding. Just a 3-bay garage with faded signage, an old soda machine humming in the corner, and a reputation for fair work. I wasn't rich, but I slept well at night. I met Lila when I was 29. She pulled into the shop with a busted alternator on a white Mazda, looking half asleep in navy blue scrubs and a hospital badge swinging from her pocket. She worked night shifts in pediatrics. I remember how she handed me the keys. Firm, no nonsense, and then she smiled. Not a performative grin. A real, tired, meaningful smile. The kind that made you want to be the reason she smiled more often. We were opposites. I was quiet, like to observe. She filled silence with stories and sharp-witted banter. Our first few dates weren't anything special. Coffee from the gas station, sandwiches eaten out the back of my truck, one drive-in movie with a crackly speaker. But she made ordinary feel alive. She was quick, clever, warm when she let herself be. We got married 2 years later. Nothing extravagant. Just a small backyard ceremony with lawn chairs and my cousin grilling ribs in the corner. Her dad pulled me aside that day and said, "She's always been fire. Keep her steady." At the time I thought he meant it as a compliment. Looking back, maybe it was a warning. The first 5 years. Solid. We worked as a team. She'd come home from the hospital, collapse onto the couch and start ranting about interdepartmental chaos, and I'd tell her about customers who thought oil changes were optional. We laughed, took small road trips, burned through seasons of bad reality TV. We didn't need drama to feel connected. We were steady, or so I thought. But around year 6, things started to drift. Not all at once. No fights, no betrayals. Just a gradual turning down of the volume. Like someone was dimming the lights a little more each day. Lila started coming home quieter. Didn't unpack her day anymore. I figured she was worn thin from the hospital. Sick kids, rotating schedules, burnout. So I adjusted. Let her rest. Took on more chores. Paid the bills, folded laundry, did the grocery runs. I thought that's what love looked like. Stepping up when your partner's tank runs low. I didn't realize I'd be carrying the weight alone for so long. First, it was subtle. I'd say something funny at dinner. Nothing brilliant. Just the kind of stuff that used to make her snort wine through her nose. And she wouldn't even look up. Just stared at her phone, screen down when I entered the room. When I reached for her hand at night, she'd flinch. Not like I hurt her. Like I wasn't familiar anymore. One night, I made her favorite dinner. Steak, medium rare, garlic butter melting on top. I even poured her a glass of that red she used to love. She walked in late, still in scrubs, and barely touched her plate. Not hungry. Yes. I grabbed something at work. You could have told me. I didn't know I was going to. That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement of the effort. Just silence thick enough to drown in. I told myself it was a phase. I told myself everything but the truth. Kept showing up. Quietly. Consistently. Even when I felt invisible. On our 8th anniversary, I cleaned the house, picked up her favorite Thai food, and bought a small cake from a bakery near the hospital. I even wrote a proper letter. Not just a Hallmark card. I waited all evening. She walked in after 9 o'clock, tossed her bag down, and walked straight to the bedroom. Not a word. "You know what day it is?" I asked, standing in the hallway, letter in hand. "Dean, not now. I'm exhausted." I didn't expect a parade. Just dinner. A card. I said not now. She didn't say it like she was tired. She said it like she was done. And this time I heard it. "I miss you, Lila," I said. She met my eyes. Blank. Flat. "Dean, I don't feel the same anymore." I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just stood there, realizing I'd been loving a ghost for a long time. "How long have you felt that way?" Yes. I shrugged. "A while." I hoped it'd change. But it hadn't. And the indifference in her voice told me it wouldn't. The next night I packed a duffel bag. 2 shirts. Pair of jeans. toothbrush, charger. No theatrics, no begging. Just quiet resolve. I was heading to my truck when I heard someone behind me. It was Mara, Lila's coworker. Still in sweats, hair in a bun, holding a plastic container of cupcakes. "You leaving?" she asked softly. He nodded. She looked away, hesitated. "Dean, I don't want to overstep, but I think you deserve to know something." Waited. "She's been distant for a long time. At work she doesn't talk about you anymore. And when she does, it's like you're a burden." She said stuff like, "He's always around," like your presence annoyed her. My chest tightened. "Is there someone else?" Yes. She hesitated. "I think so. Cullen. Works ortho. Red Mustang. She stays late. More than she should." I didn't react. Not really. I just nodded like she was confirming what I already knew in my bones. "You didn't imagine this," Mara said. "She stopped choosing you a long time ago." I drove to my buddy Leo's place that night. We've been friends since trade school. No questions, just a spare key and a couch. The next morning the messages started. "Where are you? Can we talk? You're being dramatic, Dean. Come home." That last one made me laugh. By the next night she was at Leo's door. I stepped outside. "You weren't going to tell me where you went?" she asked. I stayed quiet. "I saw your location. You stopped being my wife long before I left, Lila. I just finally accepted it." "I didn't cheat on you," she snapped. "You didn't have to," I said. "You stopped showing up. That's betrayal enough." I filed for divorce 2 days later. Nothing messy. No revenge. I didn't take the house. I didn't clear out the joint account. I just wanted to be free. That night I blocked her number. Not out of anger, but because I had nothing left to say. A week later, I rented a cabin by the lake, one she always talked about but never made time for. I sat on the dock in the quiet. No phone. No expectations. Just stillness. And it didn't feel empty. I thought back on every meal I cooked, every night I reached across a growing distance, every time I told myself to wait a little longer. And I realized I hadn't failed. I left not because I gave up, but because I was the only one trying. And sometimes love doesn't end with yelling or cheating. Sometimes it ends with silence. And the slow realization that loyalty to someone else can't come at the cost of betraying yourself. I wasn't walking away from love. I was walking away from pretending. And that was freedom. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated, subscribe and share. Someone else out there might need it too.